Good evening, everybody. This is my first video. Hope it covers some things that you'll enjoy. The first thing I wanted to touch on today, uh, it's been a couple weeks since Donald Trump has taken office, and it just so far is turned into basically a clown show. The people that he's nominated for certain cabinet positions, I believe, in my opinion, are just absolutely not qualified. Pam Bondi has got to be one of the dumbest attorneys that I've ever seen, next to Lena Hava. And I just cannot understand how everybody that voted for him just could not see or understand what he was saying that he was going to do. I mean, for the entire time, for the last year that he was on the campaign trail, he was telling you exactly what he was going to do. From drilling for oil and getting rid of electric options and clean energy, down to the border issue and the illegals. And the illegals is really the one thing that, if you didn't see this coming, then you deserve everything you get coming to you. And a couple different things have come to the forefront. Um, some people are saying that their loved ones are now being deported, even though they're supposedly been here for a while, and that they've supposedly had their green card or their paperwork is basically all in order, but they may be missing a few things. But these are basically good people, not your criminals, as Donnie Wood wanted to make you believe that he was going to be going after. Just doesn't make any sense. We've been telling a lot of people, uh, that even though he wants to do a lot of this stuff, and it's been all over the news, he just cannot executive order everything. A lot of things he's got to put through the House and the Senate, and even though that he still has the majority with the Republicans in Congress, there are still a lot of no Trump Republicans that don't believe that what he's doing is the right thing, and don't like the guy and don't like his policies, and they will fight him tooth and nail. Perfect example was Matt Gaetz. The first guy that he sent up for Attorney General got shot down, obviously because that guy, he just had his own issues. Probably a little bit more worse than Pete Hegseth, but I still believe that Pete Hegseth was a very bad selection for Secretary of Defense. And down to all the lawsuits that have been filed against his executive orders and whatnot, it just goes to show that he just can't do what he wants when he wants. He just can't executive order away birthright citizenship. That's a constitutional right. That's been argued several times as far back as 1898, and has stood the test of the Supreme Court. And the Supreme Court, on several occasions, says, no, you cannot take that away. That has to be something that's done through Congress, and any change to the amendment has to go through the House and the Senate, and then has to go through the states and has to be ratified and passed that way. You just can't executive order that. But it's definitely going to be an interesting next few weeks. There's still many more lawsuits that are going to be filed. The thing with Elon Musk and the quote Department of Government Efficiency unquote, which is, I think, a joke in and of itself, is going to do more damage, I think, than Trump will. That has to be reined in and has to be done soon. Otherwise, there's going to be a lot of damage done. I understand that there needs to be a lot of trimming done, but if you understand how the Congress works, you know, the senators and the representatives, you know, they have to vote on bills. And somebody puts a bill forth, or somebody puts an idea, and they go around and they start talking about it, and one guy says, well, I'll tell you what, I'll give you my yes vote, but I want to add this to the bill. I want $10 million to build a bridge in my district, or I want $4 million for some outrageous, stupid project in my district. And the list goes on and on. A good example of this was the last continuing resolution that they had to keep the government running up until March. The first bill they had, what did they say, was like 3,000 pages? Nobody's going to read 3,000 pages to see what's in it. And when it got shot down, they revised it. They came up with a 100-page bill. They hit just what needed to be done, and that was it. The rest of it was all this, quote, pork that they cut out and got a bill that they could pass. And that's the problem with most of these bills. And that's the problem with most of the money. It's not the federal agencies that are spending the money, like USAID or Social Security or Department of Education, departments like that. It's these congressmen and the representatives and the senators that want money for projects in their districts, so they trade these favors in order to get their votes to get the bill passed. And that's where the problem lies. That's why you wind up with 3,000, 6,000, 10,000 page bills, because everybody wants something and you don't get nothing for nothing when it comes to the U.S. government. And that's where the problem is. And really, if you want any real change in the government, you don't start with the president, because the president really can't do much. It's the congressmen and the representatives. If you want real change in government, you've got to stop putting the same people back in office election after election. We got way too many people over the age of 70, 80 years old that are serving as representatives and senators that should not be there. They tell us that we have to retire, or we can retire, it's our option, but we have to retire at a certain age. Right now, I believe it's age 65. They want to raise that to 70 or 69 in the next 4 years and 70 by the next 5 years, which is ridiculous. before we can collect our full Social Security benefits. But why is it that they get to serve until they're 80, 90, 100 years old? There was a time not too long ago, I can't remember the gentleman's name, they had to wheel him in a wheelchair. He was 100 years old and was still serving in some state out of the South. Would have to look it up to find out his name, but that's really not important. But, you know, needs to be, my opinion, needs to be an age limit here. And if they're going to put an age limit as far as the minimum age that you can enter service as a representative or congressman or president for that matter, then there has to be a maximum age. And what age is too old? And I'm also an advocate for term limits. And if you're not going to limit them by age, then you limit them by terms, the amount of terms they can serve. It's my opinion, the longer they're there, the dumber they get, the more corrupt they get, the more in it they are for their own pocket rather than the people that they serve, which is supposed to be the American people or their constituents. But that being said, just remember that. And I'll remind you as time goes on, we got midterm elections coming up here in a couple years. I will definitely be making mention of this again. But we got to stop putting the same people, especially these old guys and old ladies. Virginia Fox is one of them that comes to mind. And she's probably one of the biggest racist congresswomen that I've ever come across. And sometimes I think she's just as dumb as Donald Trump is with some of the stuff that she spews, which is just absolutely unrealistic. Stop putting these people back in office. Stop going with name recognition. Do your homework. Look into the issues. Look into what every candidate is saying that they're going to do for you, or what they want to change, or, you know, what they offer you that might be better than what the other guy got. Doesn't matter if they're Democrat, Republican, Independent. Makes no difference. And right now, the Republican Party is turning MAGA and pro-Trump day after day. And it's getting to be ridiculous. Pretty soon, this is going to be a dictatorship. You're not going to be able to do what you want when you want. They're going to tell you when you can go and do what you want, and what day you can go get your groceries, and what day you can go to work, and what day you can take off work, and things of that nature. We continue to let Donnie go and do what he's doing, it's going to get worse. Much worse. Trust me. But anyway. So just keep that in mind. Like I said in my YouTube channel, you know, I talk about all sorts of different things. Current news, a lot of different other stories I'm following. Following another story out of Florida, which I'll make another video on. Second Amendment news for those that are concerned about their gun rights. Yes, I own several guns. Being a former law enforcement officer. So I'm not fully opposed to people having guns. I'm opposed to bad guys having guns. But So we're going to touch on a lot of different things over the course of my tenure here. Hopefully, as things get going and we get things kind of straightened out here. Still a learning curve here. Still learning how to deal with the recording software and everything else. From time to time, I do plan on having live feeds or live streams as well too. Be more than happy to take questions from you guys. See, if I can answer any of your questions. I'm not an expert on everything, but I know a lot about a lot of things. Been around for a while. So I'm 59 years old. So I've seen things a lot of you haven't, especially you young kids, Gen Z, millennials, late Gen Xers. Seen a lot of things that you guys haven't. Hell, we didn't even have internet, cell phones. A lot of people tell you stories about us. Believe them, they're true. Anyway, so just wanted to do a quick introductory video, bring you guys up to speed what I'm planning. I actually planned to do this about a week ago, but got a little sick here and wasn't feeling too well, and wasn't quite feeling up to getting a video going. So, but we'll see how it goes. I watch a lot of other channels. I want to give a couple different shout outs to a couple different places that I watch. Midas Touch Network, for one, on YouTube. These are no nonsense, non-bias attorneys that keep up with what's going on in Washington and government, more specifically right now with Donald Trump. But they watch all the lawsuits that are happening, and they will tell you straight out what is going on and make it easier for you to understand. If you get an opportunity, I highly advise watching some of their videos, keeping up with their videos. They constantly put out videos several times a day. Another one which is associated with Midas Touch Network is Legal AF, Michael Popak. He's another former U.S. attorney. Great guy, gives it to you straight. Another unbiased attorney who will tell you what the law is, what can't be done by the president, what can and can't be done by the Congress, even what can and can't be done by the Attorney General's office or the FBI. So, get an opportunity to catch those two channels. I also watch Megan Fox. Her YouTube channel is Megan Fox Investigates. She covers a lot of different types of court cases. One I'm watching right now is down in Florida, which is going to be another video that I'm going to do. And she has a couple friends that do live streams with her, That Umbrella Guy and Shizzy Wiznut. And they're watching this one particular case down there. And this case is bizarre. If you have ever had a neighbor problem, you have never had a neighbor problem like these people. Jeremy Hales and his girlfriend, George. That's her nickname. I'm not going to give her full name, keep her identity hidden, but I will cover this story more in depth in my next video. But I just, like I said, wanted to do an introductory video today so you guys can hear what I sound like. You will never see my face. One thing I found because of Jeremy was try to stay as ambiguous as possible when it comes to the internet and YouTube, because, man, there's a lot of nuts out there. And what Jeremy's going through, I don't want to deal with. So, you'll hear my voice, you'll never see my face. I will tell you that I'm in Michigan, but I won't give you much more information than that. I'm in the Detroit area, but that's all I'm going to say. I'm not going to get much more specific on that. So, anyway, that's all I have for this video. If you have any ideas or any comments, drop me a line. Should be able to get my email address, which is docmand0214@gmail.com. Send me a message, something you might want me to cover. If you have questions, if you have a comment, whatever the case may be, that's fine. Other than that, I will see you guys next time. Take care.